And today we're going to discuss this 1983 Ducati 650 SL Pantah. A whole mouthful. Welcome to another video here at Back to Classics, and today we're going to discuss this 1983 Ducati 650 SL Pantah. A whole mouthful, but let's start with a little bit of historic background behind this model. So the history behind the Pantah, and for the complete story we have to go back to the early 1970s when Ducati made its first incarnation of the V-twin, of course in 750cc form. For the street in the form of the 750 GT that was later translated to the racetrack. But even before that, Ducati had a 500cc Grand Prix motorcycle with which they entered into Grand Prix racing. Now we will probably do a separate video because that is a whole story of its own about that Grand Prix era and how Ducati ended up being rather successful even, but that was the first incarnation of the V-twin, obviously with that famous bevel-driven overhead camshaft. So that was developed through the 1970s, but already in the early 70s, so with the development of the earlier 500cc Grand Prix engines, Fabio Taglioni, the famous head of engineering at Ducati, envisioned a system with a toothed rubber belt to drive the overhead camshaft instead of using that bevel drive system that was used already on the earlier single cylinders, of course, and that was well developed into the 1970s on the V-twin engine as well. So that idea about the belt driven overhead camshaft was stuck in his head, so to speak. So if we have to follow the ranges, Ducati in the early 70s, they had this V-twin, obviously, the 750, but also still the single cylinder engines that were used in many models that were available up until 1974. And after that whole range of products was replaced by the parallel twin in 350 and 500cc form. So we have to see the lineage coming from the single cylinders to the parallel twins. And the parallel twins were problematic. Fabio Taglioni famously didn't want to have anything to do with that whole parallel twin project. So it was sort of it was not the most popular bike. There were some technical issues as well with that whole design, and it was deviating a lot from what Ducati was known for as a builder of lightweight racing motorcycles. So that the whole range of parallel twins was very unsuccessful. So in the end, in the late 1970s, Taglioni then again got backing from the management at Ducati to develop a twin-cylinder motorcycle to replace the parallel twin. So a V-twin motorcycle to replace the parallel twin. Making effectively also the two ranges, so the range of the lower displacements, now also with a V-twin engine, and still the bevel drive engines were still available with the larger displacements, and that was done up to 1986. So in 1978, Fabio Taglioni again went to work developing the low capacity, 500cc displacement V-twin engine. And because he was able to use a completely blank piece of paper, completely newly design a new engine, a lot of the problems that were already found with the bevel drive engine were now incorporated in the design. So starting from 1976, it was mandatory, first in the US, later around the globe, to have the gear shift on the left side, whereas Ducati originally had the gear shift on the right side, as was with all Italian and English manufacturers. So that was done to the left, and in order to do that, now with the complete new engine to be developed, he swapped over the complete engine, so it was a mirror image. The clutch, where it used to be on the left on the bevel drive engine, now got to the right. The primary drive as well, going from the right to the left, so it was a sort of a mirror image of that original design. So that was taken care of. Now the gear shift was a proper designed mechanism on the left side of the engine with the clutch on the right side. That idea, what I was talking about earlier, of that belt-driven overhead camshaft came back to the drawing table, and that is what was done developing this engine. And the name for that range was the Pantah, and that was first introduced with the 500cc SL Pantah in 1979. That was the first incarnation of that Pantah model. Now the basis of that engine, the Pantah engine, originally in 500cc form, that was the basis for effectively all Ducati 2-valve engines to follow up well until the present day, in fact. If you look at the similarities, even with the engines Ducati is producing to this very day, are found with this engine, introduced first in 1979. Of course, a lot got changed over the years, but the basic layout, the basic principles are all the same. So it was a very, very important development for Ducati, and the basis for many, many models to come. The Pantah effectively was available through the years in three forms. First in the 500 version, later that was enlarged to a 600cc version, and in the end, so the last incarnation of the Pantah model was this one, and that is the 650 SL Pantah. This is a very rare bike. Most Pantahs are either 500 or 600, of which a lot more were produced. But this 650 is a story of its own. Effectively, it was the only reason behind this bike even existing was to homologate the 750 F1, on which again this engine was based. And they used a longer stroke on that 750, and in order to go racing with that 750 F1, they needed to homologate it, and that is how the 650 SL Pantah was developed as a homologation exercise for that 750. They ended up building only around 280 of these 650 Pantahs, so it's a really rare bike. And some specific features are there as well compared to the earlier 600 version. So that is how this bike came about. Of course, that, like I said, the 750 engine was came next after the 650, and that spawned the whole range. First in the F1, later the special bikes, of which we also made a video about the Monture and the Santa Monica. We can link that in the description. And that, of course, went on to go even up until the Monster and the Multistrada, etc., up until this very day. So more specifically about the 650, like I said, it was a very rare and exclusive bike and only made for homologation. It got a new color scheme, so the bodywork is the same as on the 600 SL, but the color scheme is different in this red and yellow. That was specific for this bike, as well as obviously the engine now having this 650cc displacement. It got the larger brakes of the 600 as well, larger brake calipers. The 500 had these smaller fitted. It got a specific dashboard that we can show you with specific instruments that was only made for the 650 version. And that is how the bike came to market only in 1983, and like I said, only about 280 were built. It's very nice weather outside, and we have done some work on this bike to make it perfect again. Just a little service. So let's see how this thing rides and what we can expect of this bike on the road. So we stopped here again in the Dutch polder countryside after a great ride with this 650 SL Pantah. You saw it performing very well. So what can we tell about riding this great 650 SL Pantah? Well, power great, absolutely 100%, especially compared with the 500 Pantah that one could argue is a little bit down on power. But the 600 and especially the 650 is performing very well. Very lightweight bike. There's nothing on it that shouldn't be there. It's really the nimble sporting bike that a true Ducati should be. And in that sense, a true improvement over the earlier parallel twins that were much too heavy and not the way a Ducati should be, according to many people that like the sporting behavior of a Ducati. So this Pantah really sets it apart again and is really a proper Ducati. Brakes absolutely great. Of course, these Brembo P08 calipers on there, as well as on many other bikes of this era. But really good stopping power coming out of it. So the whole package, really a true sporting bike, and still, albeit a 650, one that could really make you happy and put a big smile on your face. So if you ever get a chance to ride one, or especially own one, get that chance and go for it. It's a beautiful, great bike. So if you like this t-shirt I'm wearing, be sure to check them out in our online store. They are available in 2 different colors and in all sizes. So it will be great to, if you want to support this channel, to get one of these green frame t-shirts from us in our online store. So for now, this ends another video here at Back to Classics. We hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. Toodaloo-dokie. See you next time.